Let's be honest for a moment. Attraction isn't just about how you look. You can be tall, fit, well-dressed, and still lose it without understanding why. Because there are certain behaviors that quietly destroy attraction, not loudly, not obviously, but consistently. And most men don't even realize they're doing them. So instead of guessing, let's make it clear. The first mistake is overexplaining. You send a simple message and then immediately feel the need to clarify it. Add context, add reassurance, make sure it's understood perfectly. On the surface, it seems harmless, but underneath, it signals something else: uncertainty. When you explain too much, it feels like you're trying to control how you're perceived, and that creates pressure. Attraction doesn't grow in pressure, it grows in ease. Say what you need to say, once, clean, simple, and complete. Instead of explaining every detail behind your delay, you can simply say, "I got caught up with something. How are you?" Same message, different energy. The second mistake is overavailability, responding instantly every time, rearranging your schedule, always saying yes. At first, it looks like interest, but over time it removes something essential: tension. When your time is always open, it suggests your life revolves around her. And that weakens attraction, not because interest is wrong, but because imbalance is. A man with direction has a life that moves independently. He responds when he's available, not when he feels the need to prove something. That difference is subtle, but it changes everything. The third mistake is overcomplimenting. Compliments are effective when they're intentional, but when they're constant, they lose meaning. If every conversation includes validation, it starts to feel like admiration without standards, and attraction requires standards. One thoughtful observation carries more weight than 10 generic compliments. Instead of focusing only on appearance, notice something specific about her energy, her perspective, her presence. That shows attention, not need. The fourth mistake is trying to impress. Talking about achievement, status, or ambition isn't inherently wrong, but when it comes from a need to be validated, it becomes obvious. And once it feels like performance, it loses impact. Attraction responds to authenticity more than presentation. When you're comfortable being real, even in small things, it creates a different kind of connection, not based on image, but on presence. The fifth mistake is seeking constant reassurance. A slight shift in her tone, a slower reply, a different mood, and suddenly you feel the need to ask, "Is everything okay? Did I do something wrong?" What feels like clarity often comes across as instability, because now she's not just interacting with you, she's managing your emotional state, and attraction doesn't grow where responsibility replaces curiosity. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. It means processing it before reacting to it. You observe first, then respond if needed, not the other way around. The sixth mistake is changing your personality around her. Being confident, expressive, and relaxed in one environment, then becoming reserved, careful, or overly controlled in another. That inconsistency creates doubt, not about you as a person, but about what's real. Attraction builds when your presence feels stable, not identical in every context, but consistent in its core. You don't need to perform. You need to remain aligned with who you are. The final mistake is the absence of boundaries. This is where attraction shifts the fastest. If your time is repeatedly disregarded, if plans are canceled without consideration, if communication becomes inconsistent, and you continue to accept it without response, something changes, not just in behavior, but in perception. Respect is the foundation of attraction, and without it, everything else weakens. Boundaries don't require aggression, they require clarity. You acknowledge the situation and adjust accordingly. Calm, direct, without overreaction. That's where stability becomes visible. Because attraction isn't built on intensity alone, it's built on how you carry yourself when things are uncertain. Now, here's the part most people miss. Fixing these mistakes doesn't create attraction by itself. It simply removes the behaviors that destroy it. Real attraction comes from something deeper, a life that feels complete without needing validation from someone else. When your time has structure, when your direction is clear, when your emotional state is stable, your presence changes. You're no longer trying to be chosen. You're simply showing up as someone who already knows his value. And that's what creates the pull. Not effort, not performance, clarity. Because the moment you stop trying to force attraction is usually the moment it starts building naturally. And if you recognize even one of these patterns in yourself, don't overthink it. Adjust it. Quietly. Consistently, and let your actions speak before your words do.